Buenos dias. A new week. It's lunes in February. By the way, if you're ever near a Puerto Rican restaurant and you want a dessert, and a Spanish restaurant, and you say, what do you have for dessert? And they go, flan. Say to them, just don't leave it at that. What kind of flan? There's regular flan, and then there's something called flan de queso. That's where cheese is mixed in with the flan. You know what flan is? It's like a custard. Oh, my goodness. They also have flan de calabaza. That's pumpkin mixed in with the flan. And flan, I don't know. They stick anything in there, pork chop, whatever. But flan de queso is the one you really want to try. Okay, false teachers. You know what? I got to read. I said to my associates here, said Juan and John, I said, you know what? Peter is so heavy on these warnings and description. Why would he do that? Oh, always remember in the Bible, repetition is for emphasis. Like in English. You keep repeating a thing. I'm telling you that will never happen, and I guarantee it'll never happen. That means the person wants you to know it's not going to happen. So here's this emphasis about the evil nature of these false preachers and teachers who you can be sure are mentioning Jesus, but not the one of the Bible. They're mentioning the gospel, but not the gospel that Paul preached. Look at the gospel sermons in the book of Acts. Read them. Acts 2, Acts 3, Acts 10. Stephen's testimony earlier in Acts 8, Acts 13. That's the gospel. Whoever's preaching it, read it and say, does this sound like what I hear on Sunday? If it doesn't, start praying and start getting ready to move. That's a good test. And that includes me. If I'm preaching things that you don't want, where does he get that from? Right? Please, that's the sign of a false teacher. Doesn't match up with the whole counsel of God. For they mouth, verse 18, 2 Peter 2, they mouth empty, boastful words. In other words, false teachers are characterized by they boast. They're full of hot air. They're what they call in Argentina, fanfarón. Just mouthing big words, boasting, talking like they're spiritual giants, and they ain't all that. And by appealing to the lustful desires of the flesh, they entice people who are just escaping from those who live in error. Notice what they appeal for. To the lustful desires of the flesh, they entice people. So people who are just escaping from living a life dedicated to fulfilling the lusts of the flesh. Hate, immorality, homosexuality, racism, selfishness, cursing. Oh, there's a whole list of them in Galatians and in Colossians. They're just coming out of that life, and they appeal to those desires to seduce the men. How do they do that? Well, probably one of the ways they did it is to say, who told you that's wrong? Who told you that's against God's word? No. Those haters. That's what I don't like about church. Bunch of haters, very judgmental. I can't stand legalism. You know what I'm saying, Barbara, Bob, Bill, Jose, whoever? I can't take legalism. People always like getting in your business. Now, there is such a thing as legalism. It means you can live a good enough life to go to heaven. No, we're all saved by God's grace through faith, which means God accepts us because of our faith in Jesus Christ. But once you become Christians, there's a list of things that are no-nos for Christian because we want to please God. When you're a real Christian, you want to please the one who died for you on the cross. Nobody who lives in sin can ever have known God. 1 John tells us that. So they probably appeal this way. Why do you let people confine you and control you? I can't stand spiritual abuse in churches. Pastors telling you that you only have to have like one wife. Why not have 3 or 4 or whatever the thing might be? Who says that's wrong? I feel good. Here's the formula. Hey, Pastor, does God love me? Yes, he does. Does God want me to be happy? Yes. Living with this guy who's not my husband makes me happy. End of story. And don't give me your hate speech. That's how they appeal to them. What God says is wrong is not wrong. And what God says is right is not right. See, it's upside down. But all cleverly portrayed wolves in sheep's clothing. Jesus warned about them. They promised them freedom while they themselves are slaves of depravity, for people are slaves to whatever has mastered them. They're telling people, be free. Don't come under those chains of that church, of religion. It's chains. You got to be free. They want to keep you chained. Be free. Do what you feel. Let it all hang out. Follow your dream. They promised them freedom while they're slaves themselves, the false teachers, because whatever dominates you, that's what you're a slave to. Let me read it again. They promised them freedom. Who's they? The false teachers promised them. Who's them? The people that they're trying to seduce. People are following the faith in some way. They promised them freedom while they themselves are slaves of depravity. For people are slaves to whatever has mastered them. And that's mentioned in Proverbs 26:11. My Bible says here. Let me see if I can look it up and real quick, just give it to you. Here we go. 26 verse 11. Oh, no, that's for the later on. As a dog returns to its vomit, so fools repeat their folly. That's what we're going to learn about those false teachers this week. They're once out, but now they go back to the mud and the mire. Isn't that something? And they're slaves. They're promising freedom and they're slaves. Why? Because if you're driven by lusts and desires, carnal, fleshly desires that go against God's word, but you can't stop. It's like I was watching my 600-pound life. I shouldn't watch that. I really shouldn't. I'm rebuking myself. I either get depressed or I get angry. I feel so sad for the people who are 600-700 pounds. Well, there's an example. They could say to me, I'm free. I live in America. I'm free. I'm white. I'm black, whatever. I'm free. I can do whatever I want. You just had your 21st donut. And it's not 2:00 in the afternoon. Dude, you're not free. We're slaves. That's an extreme example. Whatever masters us, that's what anger, hate, you're mastered by it. You ever meet people? They can talk whatever they want. They're mastered by hate. They can't stop hating. I want to be mastered by love. How about you? Come on. Let's ask God. Just God, be such a master to us and so control us that if you squeeze us, love comes out. Well, that's good. Let's do that today in Jesus' name. See you tomorrow.